I don't have a problem with the WNBA players asking for a raise. The WNBA is on a hot streak. I don't care about the previous 24, 25 years. As an investment, it's starting to pay off. And so this week they wore T-shirts saying, making a statement, you better pay us. But instead of just leaving it at that, Kelsey Plum for LA had to take a dig at Caitlin Clark.
What happens when jealousy gets so toxic that Colin Cowherd has to step in and absolutely cook someone on national television? When a veteran player's petty comment becomes the most embarrassing moment of her career? Well, that's exactly what happened when Kelsey Plum decided to throw shade at Caitlin Clark. And Cowherd served her up so thoroughly, she might never recover from the heat.
It's time to grow up, girls, fast. Like this is the player that got you off the airline that was bright yellow.
This isn't just sports drama. This is about the most ungrateful attack on the person who literally saved the WNBA. And when Cowherd finished roasting Plum, the entire league got a reality check they desperately needed. But first, let me take you inside the moment that exposed everything ugly about WNBA politics. The All-Star Game was supposed to be about unity. Players wore shirts with a powerful message: pay us what you owe us. A chance to show solidarity. A moment to demand what they deserve. The message was perfect. The timing was right. The league was finally making money. But then Kelsey Plum had to get weird. Sitting right next to Sabrina Ionescu during the press conference, she dropped this petty bomb.
That was a very powerful moment. We didn't, at least as players, we didn't know that was going to happen. So I think it was kind of like a genuine surprise. But the T-shirt, just United Front, was determined this morning that we had a meeting for. And, not to tattletale, but 0 members of Team Clark were very present for that.
The room went cold. Even Ionescu looked uncomfortable, awkwardly laughing it off.
We had a very...
that really needed to be mentioned.
I'm trying to make a situation light, okay? But
Plum wasn't done being petty. She had to take that shot. She had to throw shade at the one person who made their paychecks possible. Here's what makes this even more pathetic. Caitlin Clark wasn't even playing in the game. She was injured, sitting on the sidelines. And you know what she did? She still wore the shirt, still supported her teammates, still had their backs when they needed unity most. So, what was Plum's point? Why attack the person who's making you rich? That's when Colin Cowherd stepped in and delivered the most brutal verbal beatdown in sports media history. He didn't just defend Clark. He exposed the entire toxic culture that's poisoning the WNBA from within. And what he said will change everything you thought you knew about the situation.
So the T-shirts don't bother me. But why do you take a shot at the Golden Goose, Caitlin Clark? You guys were flying before she arrived on one of those airlines that made you pay for a cup of water. One of those airlines that the planes are the color of a highlighter. Now you're flying private.
Let that sink in for a moment. Before Caitlin Clark transformed this league, these players were grinding through seasons on budget airlines, literally paying for water, staying in cheap motels, playing in front of crowds you could count on your fingers. The most successful WNBA franchise was losing millions of dollars every year. Merchandise sales were so pathetic that fans couldn't even find jerseys to buy. Then Clark showed up and everything changed overnight. The transformation was absolutely unprecedented in professional sports. Merchandise sales exploded by 500%. Attendance jumped 40% across the entire league. Teams that were hemorrhaging money suddenly became profitable. The Indiana Fever went from financial disaster to having a season ticket waiting list. But here's where Cowherd's analogy gets devastating.
Okay, if you're in a band and you're staying at the Motel 6 and you add a band member and now you're at the Ritz-Carlton, keep your issues to yourself. All right? You went from a Motel 6 in a sketchy part of town to a Four Seasons in the shopping district.
The imagery is perfect because it captures exactly what happened. These players went from scraping by to living in luxury, all because one rookie changed everything they thought they knew about women's basketball. And their response? Attack her. If you're loving Cowherd's takedown so far, smash that like button and drop "Go Caitlin Clark" in the comments. Because what he says next gets even more brutal. Cowherd wasn't finished destroying Plum's argument. He was just getting warmed up.
I don't mind the t-shirts. I think you have leverage. I think you deserve more than 9%. But it's just misstep after misstep. It's time to grow up, girls. Like fast. Like this is the player that got you off the airline that was bright yellow. Right? She got you an upgrade to a better hotel as a band member.
Think about how insane this situation really is. Caitlin Clark made $11 million this year in endorsements alone. She doesn't need the WNBA to make her rich. She's already set for life regardless of what happens with player salaries. But the WNBA? It desperately needs her. She's the reason sponsors are finally taking women's basketball seriously. She's the reason TV ratings spike whenever she plays. She's the reason young girls are buying jerseys faster than they can manufacture them. Yet some veterans are still taking shots at her like she owes them something. The All-Star voting results exposed just how deep this jealousy runs. When fans voted for guards, where did they rank Caitlin Clark? First. When her fellow players voted? 9th. Let me repeat that. The league's biggest draw, the person responsible for sold-out arenas and record merchandise sales, got ranked 9th by the same players benefiting from her success. Can you believe that? The pettiness has absolutely no bounds.
I think they deserve a big raise, maybe not 50% of revenues, because NBA stars, there's a lot of them, and they move the needle. The WNBA stars, well, there's one that moves the needle.
The truth hits different when someone finally says it out loud. But as Cowherd emphasized with devastating clarity, you can't fight the wave. You never know what success looks like. That's when he dropped the comparison that makes everything crystal clear. The Michael Jordan parallel that explains exactly what we're witnessing. Caitlin Clark's gotten really good, really fast. It's like the end of year 1 for Michael Jordan or year 3, he said. Clark has gotten really good, really fast. And you've got to put a body on her or double team her or she's going to embarrass you. The parallels between Clark and Jordan are absolutely undeniable. Both arrived as flashy rookies who completely transformed their leagues overnight. Jordan made the NBA a global phenomenon. Clark is doing the same thing for the WNBA right now. Both faced the same jealousy from veteran players who felt overshadowed. Both dealt with physical targeting designed to intimidate them. Both had their teams bring in enforcers for protection. The Chicago Bulls got Charles Oakley to protect Jordan. The Indiana Fever acquired Sophie Cunningham, the youngest black belt in Missouri State history, to do the same for Clark. The merchandise and TV ratings also tell an identical story. Both players became must-watch television immediately. The WNBA is seeing the same surge in viewership and merchandise sales that the NBA experienced when Jordan arrived. Clark's number 1 and 2 in every offensive stat. Her game embarrasses opponents just like Jordan did when he first arrived. But here's what makes Cowherd's comparison even more devastating for Clark's critics. This is just the beginning. This is the worst she'll ever be, Cowherd predicted. She's getting better, and they can't stop her. The physical targeting that Clark faces isn't going away. It's actually intensifying as opponents realize they can't stop her with conventional defense. But just like Jordan before her, she's proving unstoppable. Every hard foul just makes her tougher. Every cheap shot just makes her more determined. Every petty comment from jealous veterans just proves how much they fear what she represents. The smart players get it. Lexi Hull, Sophie Cunningham, Kelsey Mitchell, and Aaliyah Boston have embraced playing alongside Clark instead of fighting against her success. They've supported her during struggles, celebrated her victories, and built chemistry that benefits everyone. These players will be remembered as part of Clark's rise. Not obstacles to it. They chose collaboration over competition, and their careers will benefit for years to come. But the resistors, like Kelsey Plum, they're going to get left behind, and they'll have no one to blame but themselves. And that's the reality Cowherd forced everyone to confront. The league needs Clark infinitely more than she needs them. And players like Plum just reminded everyone exactly how ungrateful some veterans can be.
I think they deserve a big raise, maybe not 50% of revenues, because NBA stars, there's a lot of them, and they move the needle. The WNBA stars, well, there's one that moves the needle.
That's the harsh truth nobody wants to admit. In the NBA, you have multiple superstars who can sell tickets and drive ratings. LeBron, Curry, Durant, Giannis. The league has options. The WNBA has only Caitlin Elizabeth Clark. She is the needle mover. She is the reason this league finally matters to mainstream America. The numbers don't lie. Since Clark joined the league, every metric that matters has skyrocketed. The ripple effect touches every single player, whether they want to admit it or not. Yet instead of embracing this transformation, some veterans are clinging to the past. They're living in Four Seasons luxury while complaining about the person who got them out of the Motel 6. Cowherd's prediction about what happens next should terrify anyone betting against Clark. This will only make Caitlin Clark a better player. It will only make the Fever more championship ready. The targeting isn't breaking her. It's making her stronger. The jealousy isn't slowing her down. It's motivating her to prove them all wrong. Intensity and heat create steel, Cowherd observed. And the Indiana fans, good for you. You're going to have the great watch of the next 15 years because they're never trading her. She's the Steph Curry. They're never trading her. The transformation is happening with or without everyone's blessing. The smart players and organizations will adapt and thrive. The others will get left behind, watching from budget airlines while the Clark Express flies private to unprecedented heights. Cowherd's final message was a warning to the entire league. Stop biting the hand that feeds you. Start appreciating the golden goose. When the wave hits, ride it. You don't know what it looks like. Don't fight it. So guys, the WNBA has its wave in Caitlin Clark. The question is whether players like Kelsey Plum will be smart enough to ride it or stubborn enough to fight against their own success. For the fans who see what's happening, for the sponsors writing the checks, and for the young girls buying jerseys, the choice is clear. Caitlin Clark is the golden goose, and anyone trying to cook her is going to end up hungry. If you support Caitlin Clark and want to see more content exposing the jealousy she faces, smash that like button, drop Team Caitlin in the comments, and hit subscribe with notifications on. Because this story is just getting started, and the best is yet to come. Whether players like Kelsey Plum like it or not, Caitlin Clark is the future of women's basketball, and if they can't get on board, they're going to get left behind while she soars to heights. Thanks for watching.